How was the dynamics of that relationship?
It's
cultural difference.
There's a big difference, and there's a difference. Like, I mean, and it's one of those things. Like, it feels like, oh, even the fact of having you're a single mom, like baby, they call them baby mothers or baby fathers, like,
Yeah.
That's again in the African culture, you kind of, if you get a child, you kind of get married. I mean, it's changing now.
Yeah.
It's definitely changing, but when I grew up, that was like not the case.
Yep. It's actually changed a lot right now.
Yeah.
So even here, the blended families are crazy.
The blended families,
yeah. There's a lot of there's a school that I know that has more blended families than they have father, mother, same family. Yeah. It's a norm. It's a norm now.
It's a norm. Okay, then that has improved, but that was just there in the US, right? That's just but again, it's different because like you and my kids, because speaking, and maybe it was again my fault. Maybe I could have probably spoken more Swahili to them, but like my kids don't speak. Like that's why I speak a lot of English, because that's what we speak in the house. Because I've got my two kids, right? But in terms of culture, I really, my mom is there, my dad is there. We try to teach them our culture. There's things that I learned when I was young. One, being respectful to people, not wasting things. Because my kids will like pinch something and be like, I don't want it, like, they're very vocal about that. But also the culture is so different. Just the things we talk about with my kids at this age is amazing. Even my dad has had to adapt to it, right? You've been they talk to him like that's his buddy, like your best friends, So I've had to learn to respect that they were born there. And of course I teach them, a lot of some of the African cultures that I feel like are very important, like, looking out for people, community, always like not, always, just looking out for people a lot. Appreciating is one of the things that I've taught my kids, because you've got to know that it's a privilege, and that's why actually I bring my kids here. Malika has been here like maybe 4 times now.
Nice.
Right? Because I want her to see that
where you're from even.
Yeah, where I'm from. I want her to I don't want her to, one of the biggest things with the US is identity. Like a lot of people, it's very hard to tell people where they're from. If you ask somebody where they're from, like you can't even have like this level of deep conversation. I never understood that until I spoke. I won't mention his name, but I met probably one of them, a very prominent black American. Like the whole world knows him. And I sat down with him and we had a breakfast conversation. And the biggest thing that shocked me, as prominent and as big as this guy and as I felt there was a lack of identity. I felt like he was searching for himself. He was searching to belong, and the whole fact that he was, that blew my mind because I don't understand it. But I also understand it because that's why I came back to Kenya. There's something about here that made me feel, phew. I know who I am. I know. So, and it's actually part of the reason why I want to do this, why I do this show. To remind people abroad who they are, but also to remind people in Kenya that the people abroad are them. We are one. We are one. And it's just an experience. You see what I'm saying? Like they have their own issues there, and you have your own issues. It's not as flower petal like people perceive it to be. When you see somebody giving you money, I mean they've worked really hard for that money. So it just doesn't come easy.
Okay. Thanks so much for this conversation. So let's continue. So you rise now, you're the managerial level, HR, at the Virginia place. Where does the story go from that? Actually, at this time, have you been home? Not yet.
Actually, one time.
We're going to talk about that.
I came back home when Malika was, it must have been in 2009 or 10. Because she was about maybe like 5. And that's your first time home after over 10 years.
How crazy was that?
Oh man,
how did you feel? What was the experience like? Why did you even come back?
We came back just to visit. I just came back to visit.
Who were you visiting?
Actually
my brother-in-law's family. Because my parents was in the U.S., and like your question is because my parents are already in the U.S.
Yeah.
And so we came here. We actually just came here to have a good time. We go to Mombasa.
Okay, but who did you come with?
I came with my brother-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your brother-in-law being?
Wadaka Entertainment.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
So how did he become your brother-in-law?
Oh, he's actually married to my sister.
Whoa! Okay, sweet.
Yeah, he's married to my sister, and it's so funny because I don't think I would come to Kenya without him.
Whoa!
Because I again living here very young, don't can't drive. I mean, things were so different.
So he's the one who pushed you guys. We need to go back home.
Oh yeah, he's the one who pushed us.
Nice.
Yeah, he's the one who, and he's very rooted in his culture here.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a beautiful thing, right?
Nice. So he's the one who's like, guys, home. We've got to go and check it out.
Even this trip.
Yeah.
They're like, this time we all gotta go back.
That is so. I love this convo because you've shown me the role of other people within the States. Because it's easy for you to forget home. It's easy for you to just be like, yo, forget this place, too much. And not because you hate it, just too much I'm doing in States. There's too much of a grind I'm having.
There's too much of a grind.
So, okay, I want to know, what was your first experience coming back? Like, honesty. Like, I need you to be honest about
this madness. Oh, man. Look, I almost turned around and be like, look, I landed in the wrong planet. This is not, I mean, even just getting out of the airport. I said, you've got to be kidding me. It was just chaos everywhere, right? Like no order, no nothing. You just,
I feel like you're talking about Nigeria.
Oh,
you're talking about Kenya.
Man, even the airport itself, those people, I'm like, come on, people, like,
What is it? Lack
no
of
instructions,
order? Okay.
no instructions here.
Okay.
Like if you don't know, like that's it, like that's it. Like okay, well you can, hey, let me ask you this and this and this. There was a lot of bribing. I could say,
like what? Like your luggage?
Yeah, my luggage, right? And actually, I spent hours in the first time I came. I didn't know that you have to take your tags out of your bag. Like when you buy clothes, like they thought, like I was like, nah, I'm about to go have a good time. I wanted to buy some new stuff. Like they felt like I was coming to do something here, right? And then even the fact, like they almost didn't care. They said, well, we didn't tell you to go to America, because you're asking for help and nobody's helping you at the airport, explaining to you, And then that's the other thing. I think they're probably, I traveled with my U.S. passport then,
Yeah.
But I think they could tell because they obviously could see the national. I was born here in Kenya.
Yeah.
But it was, their experience was horrible when I landed here. And then again, even just getting around the roads. Oh my God, the roads. Oh, I have a headache 2 minutes into the drive. I was like, oh my God, this is it for me, right? I was like, I was awake, like, and I think I arrived here because the flights come in really late. Oh, I was awake, bumpy roads. The infrastructure was just, and what was so mind-blowing is because I had worked for nonprofits for so many years, right? I've worked global nonprofits who, a lot of the work they do is here in Kenya or Nigeria or whatever, like DRC, and there's a lot of money that pours into this country, right? I mean, a lot of the big companies are here.
Yep.
But you're like, why? How is it just not developed? It didn't. That was probably my biggest thing. It didn't translate. I'm like, wow. It even made me question, wow, what have I been doing for all these years? Here I am so proud that I've worked for nonprofits, but yet I come to my own country and it feels like I've stepped into the Stone Age, real Stone Age, So I think that was the biggest experience for me.
Yeah, on the positive.
On the positive side.
No. Like, what did you experience on the positive side?
Oh my God.
What made you feel like,
I was home. The food. I think it's just like
when you say you were home, did you feel that switch? Like, oh my God, here I'm home.
Oh yeah.
Did you identify? It had been so long. You've got a whole other family on that side.
Yeah. It took me it took me a while. It took me a while. You're like, wow, am I really home? Actually, that's what it felt like. My question in my head is like, wow, am I actually back home?
And your parents didn't come?
No, my parents did come the first time around.
Okay.
Yeah. So that maybe was also another thing. It's like, okay, am I here as a tourist rather than like coming home to visit? Because a lot of people will come and visit their parents,
exactly,
their family.
Yep,
you know what I'm saying? Hey, you're coming to stay with your mom. Like that way he stays with his parents here. So that was the biggest difference for me, because I didn't have that to go back to, right? Because again, my parents had already also relocated.
Yep.
So that was a different experience. Maybe actually thinking about that, Now that I'm here, it's different because my parents have a house. Now, and even though they still live in the US, but at least we have a house where I could be like, okay, I'm going to my dad's house,
Yeah.
And it makes the biggest difference.
Okay. Had you invested back in Kenya?
No.
Have you now?
No.
Are you thinking is something?
Yeah, I
No,
am.
like honestly, if you're not, you don't have to be like.
No, I am. Actually, people have told me you got to invest a little bit in Kenya. But like you just said, it feels, I'm still not convinced, but I feel like it might be a good idea, right? Because I'm like, okay, I'm not here. What would I do with it? The distance is just so big.
Yeah.
And I got family here, but I, not like where I feel like, oh, okay, we could do business with them. Like, it's not, I've never felt that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the reason why.
So who's then putting that seed in you?
My dad, my parents are
Okay.
saying like, hey, it's a good investment. It's a good country.
Yeah.
I want to invest in Jamaica. That's where I want to go. I was like, shoot, y'all could go in the bumpy roads. I'm going to be at the beach somewhere. Like, so that's, you want the truth.
Yeah,
That's the truth.
Man, I don't want some.
That's it. I want to be in a, and that's the thing is a thing. It's like, they still push you like, you've got to invest back home. And maybe it is, but to be honest, I don't know,
I get it. So, from a sightseeing perspective, now when you came with your daughter, the first time you came with your daughter, how was that her coming in? She's first generation American, or in fact, you are like almost first generation.
Yeah,
is it?
coming back, right? Yeah, but she is first generation.
Yeah,
American.
she's like she's born bred like this is where mommy was born.
Yeah. But you know what? She was excited. It was very different for her. Like it was, first of all, she could even communicate with anybody, right? And she saw the freedom of the kids, because the kids like play outside and she got into it too, man. She was kicking out her shoes, like let's get dirty, right? And even sometimes I felt myself being the American side, like no, like you're gonna get dusty, like who's gonna wash his clothes? There's no washing machine here, So but then you let them be them, right? And for her it was a great experience because we went to Masai Mara, and actually the first time we came back, we saw the migration.
Nice.
Yeah.
Woo.
Which was one of the most astonishing things that we had.
Yep.
So she has those memories, and that her first experience was so great that girl, you tell her to come to Kenya, yep, let's go. And and she likes the sausage too. I cannot forget that piece, right? Like, so I'm not by myself. So sometimes I'm like, ask for sausage so people don't think that I'm crazy. I'm like, tell them you want it, But that's it. She had a really great experience, and I think the appreciation for her, even though she doesn't connect at all. She knows mommy's from there, but she still questions like, why do you do things that way? But she's also she's very mellow, and she's in a moment type of a person. So she goes with the flow,
Okay, I love it. Hold on, let's order some sausage.
Okay. Cut. Show over.